It is my hope that out of this solemn occasion, a better world will emerge out of the blood and carnage of the past. A world founded upon faith and understanding. A world dedicated to the wish for freedom, tolerance, and justice.
Welcome to Kermode Uncut. War for the Planet of the Apes is now in UK cinemas, and you may well have seen it already. It's a really powerful film with a fantastic central performance by Andy Serkis, who, more than anyone, has pushed the very boundaries of what performance capture technology is all about on screen. I mean, his performance as Caesar is remarkable. It's so engaging, it's so believable, it's so completely convincing, and it is, as Andy Serkis himself said, just acting in a different guise. And the film has got very good reviews and it's doing very well with audiences. But one thing troubles me slightly, and it's this. I grew up watching the original Planet of the Apes movies, and I absolutely loved them. And I didn't particularly care for the Tim Burton reboot, which had, a few interesting ideas, but sort of fell apart. And I've really liked the new series of ape movies, particularly because of the way in which they've used motion capture to give us realistic characters that you just couldn't do before with simple prosthetics. However, it has now become very fashionable not just to bash the Tim Burton movie, but to treat the originals as somehow a little bit substandard. I read an interview in the paper with a number of the filmmakers, and the interview was written by Ryan Gilbey, who I think is a very fine writer, but he says this: the 1968 Planet of the Apes was a schlocky yet well-regarded fantasy, made timeless by one of the great twist endings in cinema. He goes on to quote one of the producers of the new movie as saying, "Those movies got progressively worse." Now, I know it's very easy to sneer at our past, but let's be honest about this. The Planet of the Apes movies in their original form were changeable, but many of them were really brilliant. Planet of the Apes itself is a terrific movie with a great twist ending, yes. Beneath the Planet of the Apes is one of the darkest films I've ever seen and is a really remarkable piece of cinema. Okay, there may be a few dramatic flaws in it, but it's a film which starts at a point of no hope and goes downhill from there. It is an apocalyptic movie that really makes good on that promise. Escape from Planet of the Apes, yes, it's a little bit dopey. It gives us, the time reverse thing. Also, it's more aimed at a younger audience, but it's followed immediately by Conquest of the Planet of the Apes, a film which was extremely controversial at the time and actually had a really solidly political underpinning. It was a movie which I couldn't see for a long time because of the way it was distributed and the certificate that it had and the violence that it had in it. I remember going to see it on a double bill with Beneath the Planet of the Apes and being absolutely thrilled. Battle for the Planet of the Apes is a bit of a damp squib ending perhaps, and yet even now the series is still drawing on the legacy of those films. I love the new Apes movies. I think Andy Serkis is a genius. I want to go and see War for the Planet of the Apes again because there's so much in it. Let's celebrate that, but let's not do that by bashing the originals. It's not just that Planet of the Apes was good with some rubbish sequels. The first 5 Planet of the Apes movies together, which I remember sitting up to watch in a 5-film special when they first came out on video back in the mists of time. They're really, really interesting movies. Yes, they have some flaws, but they're ambitious. They're science fiction films that are about something. Everything I know about politics, I learned from those Planet of the Apes movies. Not the new ones, the old ones. The new ones are great. So were the originals.
Okay.